everyone, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be discussing Evernight as she was shown off in the latest version 3.6 live stream, and we'll be going over her kit, team synergies, builds, and her overall value. Before we get into today's video, I'd love to know if you're considering pulling for any of the characters in version 3.6, whether it is our new characters or the reruns, or if you're actually potentially skipping version 3.6 entirely. It is pretty exciting though that we are getting a free Heng. Lastly, if you do enjoy videos like these, consider subscribing to see more content from me, leave a like to support the video, and now let's get straight into it. Starting off with Evernight's kit, Evernight will be an Ice Remembrance character who enjoys being alongside other Remembrance characters, as she can provide nice team-wide buffs, which the more memosprite characters on the team, the bigger the buffs. Evernight also takes advantage of a stack mechanic referred to as Memoria, which is important for her memosprite's damage output. Evernight's skill will consume a percentage of her HP to summon her memosprite Evey, and increase the crit damage of all ally memosprites for 2 turns. The duration will decrease by 1 at the start of Evernight's turn. If Evey is already on the field though, you will restore a percentage of its max HP, and when Evernight's skill is used, you'll gain points of Memoria. Memoria will gradually increase the damage dealt by her memosprite Evey, and after reaching 16 or more Memoria stacks, Evey will immediately take action and explode, dealing damage onto all enemies. Upon disappearing, Evernight's speed will also increase. Evernight benefits from accumulating a bunch of Memoria and Evey exploding frequently, as this will result in a lot of frequent damage being dealt. Plus, whenever Evernight or Evey's HP drops, you'll gain points of Memoria as well. This can come from enemies attacking you, Evernight being able to consume her own HP, and even cases of certain light cones, helping with draining the HP of allies. For example, Hyacine's signature light cone, and so on. As for Evernight's ultimate, Evey will be summoned if they weren't already on the field and deal damage onto all enemies. Evernight and Evey will enter an enhanced state referred to as Darkest Riddle after using Evernight's ultimate, which this enhanced state will have 2 charges and 1 charge is used after Evey explodes. This enhanced state will increase the damage dealt by Evey and Evernight and also inflict a vulnerability debuff onto enemies. Additionally, after Evernight uses her enhanced skill, she will gain additional Memoria during the Darkest Riddle state. Another fun thing is that Evey will also change colors to a red and black color instead. Lastly, after Evernight uses her technique, she will increase all allies' memosprite crit damage and gain points of Memoria. Some things to note from the livestream: after Hyacine used her skill, Evernight gained 4 Memoria, which is likely due to the help of Hyacine's signature light cone, as Evernight went from 13 Memoria to 17. And as mentioned earlier, Hyacine's light cone can assist with gaining Memoria. Whenever Evernight or Evey lose HP, they will gain 2 Memoria, as shown in the live stream. Additionally, when it comes to Evey's attacks, when you aren't at 16 or more Memoria stacks, rather than Evey exploding, it'll use this water gun-like attack onto an enemy and assist with gaining Memoria. Once I'm able to showcase Evernight for you all, I'll be able to show her playstyle more in depth, and her playstyle has been pretty fun so far in my opinion. Now that we've gone over Evernight's kit, let's go over team building. When it comes to team building with Evernight, you can consider doing hyper carry or dual DPS. Starting off with hyper carry, this will essentially just be your supports amplifying Evernight's damage output. Some supports you can consider using alongside Evernight can be Remembrance Trailblazer, as they are a nice free-to-play option that allows Evernight to take advantage of true damage thanks to Mem support. And due to them having a memosprite, this benefits Evernight even further due to her being able to provide buffs based on how many characters have memosprites on the team. Plus, Remembrance Trailblazer will also be able to provide Evernight 10% crit rate as well. More supports you can consider would be Tribby, as she provides ult-type res pen for the team, as well as inflicts a vulnerability debuff onto enemies when her zone is active. Tribby can be a nice holder of the Dance 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 light cone as well. You can consider Cypher alongside Evernight, as she will inflict all enemies with a vulnerability debuff by simply being on the field. She can assist with dealing her own damage, and she will also record the damage the team deals onto enemies, which can allow Cypher to deal immense damage with her ultimate, and she can just overall assist with defeating enemies. Additionally, depending on what light cone you use on Cypher, you can also inflict even more debuffs onto enemies, which will further increase Evernight's damage onto them. You can use Silverwolf as she will decrease all enemies' defenses with her ultimate. She can implant ice weakness onto an enemy and lower their resistances, as well as inflict numerous other debuffs onto enemies as well. And similar to Cypher, depending on what light cone you use, you will be able to now inflict additional debuffs, which will further Evernight's damage. Another Nihility option can be Pela for the defense reduction she can inflict onto enemies with her ultimate, and at E4 she can reduce enemies' ice resistance, which is beneficial for Evernight as she is an ice damage dealer herself. You can consider Ruame, who can provide damage buffs, speed buffs, ulti res pen, and so on, and there are numerous supports you can consider for a hypercarry Evernight team. For the sustain option though, Hyacine will be an excellent option due to her having a memosprite, dealing her own damage as well as buffing the HP of allies. If you have Hyacine's light cone, this will allow you to get even more Memoria for Evernight as well. If you don't have Hyacine though, you can consider using Gallagher, which is a more budget-friendly option for those that may not have Hyacine, as he is a great 4-star sustain option. As for dual DPS Evernight, one of her primary team members would be Castorice, taking advantage of similar supports as mentioned earlier. I might also experiment a bit with some meme teams for you all, which can be a combination of Evernight and Jade for pure fiction, Evernight and maybe Aglaya for fun, and so on. Do stay tuned though for some fun showcases, and also consider subscribing to know when I upload. Now that we've gone over some team synergies, let's go over how to build Evernight. When it comes to building Evernight, for her relics you'll want to go with the upcoming relic set in version 3.6. Other relic sets you can use though would be Longevous or 2-piece sets. For planars, you'll want to go for Woven Dreams or Bone Collection. For her main stats, since she is an HP scaling damage dealer who takes advantage of crit rate and crit damage, I would recommend an HP or crit damage body, HP or speed boots, ice damage or HP orb, and lastly you can consider either an HP rope or energy regen rope. For substats, you're mainly focusing on your crit stats, HP, and speed. For your crit rate goal, if you're not using Remembrance Trailblazer, then you will want 65% crit rate. If you are using Remembrance Trailblazer though, then you want 55%, as Remembrance Trailblazer will give 10% for Evernight. For Evernight's light cone options, I would recommend her signature, Sweat Now Cry Less, The Flower Remembers, The Story's Next Page, Memory Curtain Never Falls, and you can even consider Bailu's light cone, Time Waits for No One, for the HP that it'll provide through the stats. As for Evernight's value, this comes down to if you would like a new damage dealer on your account, who pairs very nicely with numerous other Remembrance characters. You can use her as a hypercarry or alongside Castorice. There's also a chance she will work nicely with Cyrene, as Cyrene will be the next Remembrance character after her in version 3.7. And Evernight enjoys having numerous Remembrance characters on the team with how her kit is set up, so there is a potential synergy in the future. I personally will be going for Evernight as I find her gameplay fun and her design is pretty cool in my opinion. I'd love to know if all of you are going to pull for Evernight or if you're going to be skipping her. And lastly, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider subscribing to see more from me. Leave a like to support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.